So I think there are certain hotels who are already experimenting dynamic pricings based on market demands. So again, it's become possible because of this whole e-commerce and online thing, because you can play with the dynamic pricing in that case based on the need.
In today's episode, we will dive deep into revenue management, industry trends, and tips for the hoteliers. If you're a seasoned professional or simply curious to learn about the revenue management in hospitality, then it is for you. We have Mrudul Gohain, the industry expert, on our podcast today, and we welcome your questions. Hi, this is Algira Pereira from IRA Inspirations, and if you like today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe. Mridul Gohain, a seasoned hospitality professional in revenue management, a traveler, and a passionate hotelier, is on our podcast today, and I'm sure you will enjoy the conversations. And if you have any questions, please write it down to us in the comments. Mridul, we welcome you on our podcast, Earn, Lead, Earn by IRA Inspirations. Please tell us, how did you get into the revenue management field?
Oh, first of all, thank you so much, and thank you for taking this initiative. I think it's a great initiative of telling people their stories to the world and how they have actually evolved and grown with time. So I think congratulations to you and the IRA Inspirations. I think it's a very, very brave move, and I think the world needs all of big stories after all of hard times that have passed. So in terms of my professional career, I'm a revenue professional in hospitality. I take care of revenue management in hotels primarily. That's what I do. I think how I ended up in revenue management, of course, that wasn't my very first choice. I started with hotel operations, which was a department called front office when I first started my career in hotels way back in 2010. And that's how the journey started. So I started with front office, then gradually, moved to ladders, sales and marketing. And I think revenue was something which really, really fascinated me. And I also felt that that's where I can get accommodated very well. So I think it was more of comfort and, pleasure of working. So that's where I landed up in revenue management. And that's what I'm doing happily. And, you can see the smile on me. So I'm doing it I hope I'm doing it well at this point of time. I work for Marriott Hotels currently in India. That's how I actually landed up in revenue management.
Interesting, Mridul. The journey is really interesting and looks like it's happening. And first of all, thank you so much for the compliment that you gave for IRA Inspirations. I'm sure that the team is also overwhelmed with your compliments. And we are glad to have you here. You definitely have something, and that's why you are here on the podcast today. For our audience to connect more, can you please explain what is revenue management?
Okay. I think revenue management is, though it sounds to be something very, very, very complicated, it's actually not that complicated. But of course, you need some kind of analytics to get to the right fit at the right time, reach to the right customer. I think a lot of people think revenue management currently is more of doing with numbers, but I think, yes, there is a certain percentage of work which needs to be done in terms of how the numbers are and how you analyze the data. But more importantly, also with these evolving marketing trends and let's say the digital world coming in, I think it's for revenue management, you alone can't, just make a difference. There are a lot of key stakeholders which makes this, entire effort come successful. I would say digital marketing becomes a very, very important aspect at this point in time. Revenue management, if I have to go and tell you the basics, of course, it's just getting the right price at the right time and giving it to the right customer. I think that's a line which can define what revenue management is in terms of hotels. Of course, you have product, which is a room, and then, of course, you have products which are food and beverage outlets where you sell a lot of different food and beverages. Food and beverage revenue management, I think it's still in a very nascent stage at this point of time, I would say. We haven't gone that deep into revenue management for food and beverage, and let's say a banquet being one of the major aspects of total revenue. So those are aspects which we are evolving at time. Rooms is something where I believe revenue management has reached to a great, I would not say the peak, but there is definitely scope to evolve. We have been able to get to a certain amount of success there, I would say, as a revenue fraternity, and we've been able to price based on different dynamics, and things have gone successful to us as an organization. I mean, say each and every organization, I guess that's the same thing. So yeah, revenue management, if I have to give you a very basic understanding, it's about pricing at the right time, at the right price to the right customer. I would relate it that way in terms of what's currently we are doing. Of course, there are a lot of back-end calculations, some softwares that I think varies from organization to organization. How we use it remains the same, but what we use it, of course, that differs depending on the organizational preferences. So it's not the human mind alone who does everything. It's of course supported by a lot of systems in today's world, and yeah, that's how we reach to that right price point.
I remember one of my managers told me that in revenue management, if you're not able to sold a particular room on that particular day, then you are at a loss. When this is like 10 years back when I started my hospitality industry. I can understand and I can relate that what you're saying right now. Yes, yeah. To proceed forward, I would like to know if digital marketing and revenue management, do they work very closely? Do they have any relation?
Well, to be very honest, it wasn't. It was there, but now at this point of time, of course, it is so important. It's like it's like a family. I think without each other, we can't move across. I mean, to say, like I said, we can have the right price, but then reaching out to the right customer, that's where digital plays, or let's say marketing, which could be digital or print, or depending on the markets we operate. I think it's become so important that without the help of marketing, let's say digital being growing on a larger space, it is very important. And without them, yes, we are somewhat irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. That's right. What do you think is the impact of revenue management in the hotel industry? Is that very, very important, or how do you gauge the importance of it?
No, I think it's like I said, I don't want to be biased to the department. I think each and every department in the hotel has its own importance and really makes and counts to it, because otherwise, if they don't perform, one of the departments not performing actually takes back the entire effort of the other ones. So it's always a joint effort when we come to rate success. But yes, revenue management, why I say is important, because that's the very first step where you're connecting with the guest. That's, let's say, I have a product and I price it at an X price, and that gives us as a customer a lot of impression about the product. If you're let's say a luxury product or a premium product, based on your price, you're already judged to where you stand in the market and what kind of buyer should buy you. So I think, these are certain aspects which is something which is going to be discussed more and more in today's world, because people have become brand conscious. There are different market segments who operate. Let's say, if I just take an example of India, we have one of the largest upper middle classes in India. So the premier segment, or let's say the luxury segment, so to say, has become so big and so large. But then if you see 10 years down the line, it was more of upscale or a budget segment which was operating quite good. So with times, different marketing aspects changes and people's buying behavior changes. So it is really, really important that revenue understands and forecasts that pretty well in advance, and then do the strategy, then sell the product to the client. And of course, once the client is there at the product and then to extend the services, of course, that's where the operation team comes in, and they do a wonderful job there. So yes, it is important, I would say, because we reach the customer first. And when I say we, I mean say sales, marketing, revenue, distribution, all coming together, and we reach out to the client. And post that, of course, it's the client who chooses, but then you can always influence by targeting the right person. So I guess revenue management makes a big difference in the initial phases.
Mm-hmm. And in a situation like COVID-19, how do you handle such kind of situation with revenue management?
Well, yeah, I think COVID has given and made us learn a lot of things. I think strategies earlier were very long-term strategies. Post-COVID, everything's become short-term.
Yeah.
We just live for today kind of atmosphere and there are emerging markets which are so fast pacing that it's very difficult to get trends now. And you won't believe, like, you shoot up from a 50% occupancy to an 80% occupancy just in 2 days. So it's very dynamic in today's world, and you have to be on your toes to make the difference. And if you are not, actually, you lose the race, like you said at the beginning. If you don't sell the room, you're making a loss. So as revenue, I think we've evolved a lot. We've grown faster. We have to make decisions even more accurate, though we were doing it, but then there were obviously scope to get better. I think revenue management now has a lot of responsibilities to make things well. And COVID has actually made us learn that, you can twist the wheel, and you can think of different strategies and apply. And, out of 2 or 3 strategies, definitely one will get, on the right track. So I think it has given people the leverage to experiment as well, which is also good, because otherwise it was a very traditional way of working and, doing things. So I think COVID, of course, there were a lot of negatives. The world had to suffer a lot, but then it also gave a lot of positives, that people started thinking in a different way. People started, thinking in the same product, how can you improvise more? So I think, there were a lot of benefits, and COVID has made us learn a lot as a fraternity. And there are so many new evolutions which are coming up. Like, for example, if I had to say, there's going to be a unique traveler identification, a key for an individual, which is called a key, but that's something like a number. So if you're a traveler and you just have the key, so any hotel you go, it's going to be a cloud-based system where you just need to give your number, which is a key, and you're going to be, the hotel will get all your preferences. So it's become things more smoother, faster, efficient, and helps everyone in a lot better ways. So I think the revenue management is evolving, and there is a lot to do.
Thank you, Mridul. This brings to my next question. How does market dynamics help in revenue management?
Well, market dynamics is very important for us, because, based on the market dynamics, that's how we are working on a day-on-day basis at pricing our products and reaching out to the different segments. Now, if there are different segments which operate differently in different markets, in different seasonalities and different events, so to say. So it's very, very crucial for revenue management, because based on the trends is how you set your strategy. So as a revenue person, it's very important for you to know what are the trends, or what are kind of events, or let's say a weather behavior, a seasonality in terms of festivals coming in, holidays coming in. That's how we have to really, really know what's there for us in the next, say, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or maybe another 2 years, because there are certain markets where events are planned. Let's say a G20 currently, which is happening in New Delhi, the capital of India. This was planned almost 2 years back. So, this is where the hotels will have forecasted and put on the right price, choose the right business mix for them. And they would have done the strategies. And currently, as we see right now, where they are attending the G20, they might be seeing the success or the other way around. So, it's very important. Market trends, I think without them, we just, fishing in a pond which has no fish probably, or we don't know how to fish back.
That's right, yeah. How do you keep yourself motivated? This seems like very technical kind of a role.
Well, I think the motivation is very important. Otherwise, it becomes very monotonous in life. And if you don't have, I would say more than motivation, motivation comes out of something. And I would only talk about myself, because I always try to keep a target, in the sense, not that every day you have to do this, but then in a long term, let's say 2 years, 1 year down the line, what do you want to achieve, which could be an organizational achievement, which could be a personal achievement. And I think if you set goals, at least it helps you to get motivated and work towards it. So it's always, let's say you set a goal for a year, and every day passes, that means you are either reaching closer to the goal. I think that's what motivates me, and that's how I operate. It's been successful till now. I don't know how it's going to operate in the future, but yeah.
That's right. Whenever you like what you do, that means you're automatically motivated. That's what I follow. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's also important, because every day, if you have to do the same kind of thing, you definitely have to love it. Otherwise, it's not the productivity would not come as how it would require. So you're very right. I think you need to love your job. And like I said in the beginning, I just got fascinated with revenue management. It's like falling in love. And yeah, kind of. And that's how I think till date I'm still being loyal to my ducks. So that's how it's going.
Thank you. That's actually motivating. So, Mridul, what advice would you like to give to our aspiring audience who would like to join revenue management?
I think, there's been a notion in the world that AI is going to come up and it's going to take away a lot of human interference. So to say, the importance of how human brains would, let's say, race against the AI. I think this is a notion, and this is kind of a hesitancy where a lot of people have in today's world that they're talking about, jobs getting shrunk and AI will do a lot of things. I would just like to say that yes, AI will do a lot of things, which is definitely helpful and positive. But it's not just that, not to get demotivated, because end of the day, to run those AI is the human brains that's required. And because my segment of work is very much related with softwares, without them, we are just paralyzed. So I think in an era of around 2000s and the late 90s, I think revenue management started evolving, and that's where we always took help of systems to get, the support we require. And I think it's no different now, it's evolving. So for a revenue management aspirant, I think there is a lot of scope. Of course, you have to be open to learn and change yourself and evolve yourself with time, because that's a very, very important necessity. 10 years down the line, I think people would say, I have learned this in 10 years, and I think I will go and implement this in the next 20 years of my career. I think gone are those days where you can say what I've learned is what's going to be the trend. So you just need to be open-minded. You need to be ever evolving. I think evolve is the right word. And where I currently work, that's a very, very important word for us in our day-to-day life. So all kind of changes, I think you just need to see what positives come out of it. And of course, if you feel that you can make a difference, just be with the process and definitely you will make a difference. So to all this, new, I would not say new, I think these are emerging leaders for us. If they come into the industry, there is a lot of scope and there's a lot of things happening. So, just don't get demotivated with few people talking about things that, it's going to be replaced by X, Y, Z. It's never going to be replaced. We'll just get better and better, I guess.
Thank you. Here, I would like to remind our audience that they can post their questions in the comment option, and we will get in touch with Mridul and help assist you guys with the answers. And I will also mention the links of Mridul's social media handles so that you can get in touch with him directly.
Sure. Thank you.
Welcome. Mridul, would you like to give some key takeaways to our audiences regarding revenue management?
I think I would say key takeaways is like the first one is you need to be ever evolving. I think that's very important. You need to have an approach, I would not say no one has a closed-minded approach in today's world, but keep yourself open to change, which is really, really important, because if you just think that what I do is probably how it should be, I think it's going to be a challenge when things around you start changing. So it's very important. First is you need to be having the attitude of ever evolving. Second is you need to accept the change. Sometimes it's difficult for us to accept the change, and that's where we try to do things, but not with 100%, or let's say more than that effort. And that's where things doesn't work out, and we end up saying that, maybe this wasn't the right process. So I think accepting change is very important. Have a very, very, a very positive attitude towards anything that's happening. That's very important. Second thing, just be focused on what you need to do. In an industry like hospitality, there are so many XYZ things which will walk along with you. You need to choose what you need to focus and what you not need to. So, that's very important. Your priority, like I said, you need to be focused on the target, what you have set, which could be a short term or a long term. And if you do that, I think you will definitely reach there. I think apart from that, keep things simple. That's what I believe. You can complicate things there's no limit to how much you can complicate. But if you have to think the other way around, how simpler can you make it? How simpler can you define things which is understandable by each and every one, and which could be easily, into the workspace that could be applied. I think that's also very, very important in today's world with so many things happening across. I think the attention span of people have gone down to a great extent. So I think simplicity, keeping it more simple makes it easier. And apart from that, I think enjoy work. I think that's more important. I think we all stretch out a lot and say, you know what, there's too much to do. But at the end of the day, we end up doing it. So no matter how much you grieve and cry, you'll have to do it. So better just, go with the flow, finish up whatever is possible for you, and the rest we do it tomorrow.
Awesome. Beautifully said, Mridul. I really like that. Would you like to share some challenges that you have faced during your career?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a very interesting question. A lot of people ask you what were your successes, and very rarely we get this question about what were your challenges. I think there were a lot of challenges, and it again brings back to a few of the things which I had said. As per events, in terms of how challenging a particular event was, of course, I had worked in different markets, and Maldives was one of the very, very, a different experience for me. If I had to talk, when I actually landed up in Maldives, it was a different world for me. I wasn't able to understand anything. And I was like, where have I landed? I would probably go back in 3 months. And the other side of it, I just told myself that, since you're already here and you eventually will have decided to go back, might as well just give a chance that, at least before you go back, you learn something. So, I kept it in an attitude that I had nothing to lose. And I think that helped me a lot, which definitely gave me to absorb a lot of things because, like I said, I had nothing to lose. I already said that, okay, if this doesn't work, then I'm going to get out of it. But then eventually it started being so greener on the other side. So, this is kind of a challenge which I would probably say helped me a lot to evolve myself as a person. Otherwise, in terms of, work-wise, of course, there were a lot of challenges during COVID where, you had to change strategies just within 2 months or overnight kind of a few things. But I think we all learned out of it. How can we do the alternate way out? Because till then, we never thought about it. So there were many instances. And like I said, now I currently work for Marriott. When I came here, again, a very different world for me. Very much into technology and systems. And again, I was a bit lost when I came in. But challenges-wise, I think, again, nothing to lose attitude makes you, do the best. The best comes out of you. And I think that's what was helping me out. So to say, I could not just give you one event which was not something which actually evolved and helped me to evolve where I am today. There was a series of events, and it's more of collective approach, I would say, that actually made me where I am today. So yeah, I'm grateful to all of those challenges.
Wow, looks like you have learned a lot. Would you like to share some learnings?
Yeah, learnings, I mean to say, you're talking about the professional side of it?
Yes.
Okay, great. I think if I talk about revenue management, like I said, when I joined revenue management, it was more of revenue and how you get the numbers and how you get things right. But now with time, I think we were working so closely with other channels like the distribution channels, like the e-commerce and digital marketing. I think I have learned a lot. These are kind of learnings to me, like how you target audience in social marketing, how you distribute your product to different channels in a different way. Not necessarily that everything could be online, but there are certain ways where you go offline and reach out to the customer, and how you actually present yourself to the customer or to the market, let's say. These are things which I have learned because initially when I joined revenue management, it was more of, you just need to focus on the numbers and how you reach target each year, each quarter, each month. That was what my understanding, and at that point of time, that was the kind of notion which people had. But I think, again, COVID played a very important role, and even before COVID, things started evolving in a slower pace. After COVID, it turned to be quite faster. And I think I learned a lot about digital marketing. I learned a lot about how distribution works. I think these are key takeaways, which I would say I've learned apart from revenue as a very streamlined source. I would have learned these things, and it's a great pleasure for me to know this.
This shows that how important it is for us to stay updated with the changing trends in the hospitality industry. It has evolved a lot, and every day there's something new to learn, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's so evolving, like I said in the beginning of my call, right? We were revenue management mostly focused on the rooms and the banquets part of it. Now I think revenue management is going to come up in terms of F&B as well, which is food and beverage, all together with the restaurants and different patisserie outlets and all of it. So I think there are certain hotels who are already experimenting dynamic pricings based on market demands. So again, it's become possible because of this whole e-commerce and online thing, because you can play with the dynamic pricing in that case based on the need. Like weekends can be high, weekdays can be low. You can run offers on weekends, and I think it's really important that these things come up, because we learn something new, and the world gets benefit out of it in all aspects, like the company, the people working down, even the guests for that matter. It's not always about making loss with them. It's sometimes giving them the best also. So yeah, it's helped a lot. I think otherwise you just see a flat menu price from Monday to a Sunday. Now you'll see dynamic prices coming up. It's amazing. There's a lot of things which are happening behind. I think we will see those changes coming up very soon.
That's right. Looking forward to it. And how has your professional journey helped you as a person to become the Mrudul Gohen?
Well, I mean to say, I think I will always give my regards to all the people I've worked around. That's most important, because where I am today, without their support, it would have been not possible. Well, individually, yes, I had to put too much of effort in few things and very less effort in few things. So it's a combination of how you tackle situations. I think who is Mridul? I mean, I'm just someone between all of these smart people. But I think the most important thing for me was I just kept it with an open mind, started learning things, and I still believe that I know very less in revenue management. So there's no end to it. So I guess, what my designation carries is there are many like me. So, you can't just say that you know the best. So I think for me, most important thing to be Mridul who I am, I think it's more about evolving with time. And I would like to keep doing this, keep learning. And so that's how I need to grow. Otherwise, I don't see any other way. I will be able to sustain with this race.
Wow, that's awesome, Mrudul. Thank you so much for the information. To the viewers, I hope this was not a very much technical episode, and I really hope that it's not too heavy for you guys to download this. I am sure
if you need something technical, you can text me. I mean, if I'm able to answer, I'll be happy to answer back to you. Yes.
Thank you for being so supportive, Mrudul. Thank you so much. And just before we could wrap for the day, would you like to say the last message for the audience? Anything?
Well, I think we are in an era of fast development. So keep up with the pace. It's not necessary that you might fit into everything and anything that comes across. You may not fit in certain things, but accept it. I think, which is very important. I have seen a lot of people in my career. Again, for me as well, there were situations where I felt that I wasn't the right for this particular job, and that's how I shifted from one to the other, and then I landed up on the right place where I want to be. And I would like to tell all professionals that it's never late. I think if you will do something for 10 long years and then one fine day you see or you think and you feel that this is where I actually want to go, give it a shot. Try for it. I mean, to say you've got nothing to lose. You will always have those 10 years of experience behind you, what you already know. But if you can rediscover yourself with something else, go for it. There were times where people use, or so to say, were hesitant to take that challenge or kind of a chance in life. But I think today's world gives so much of opportunity, and I would always say people that go for a change, try it. If you win, you win. If you lose, I guess you always are who you are at that point in time. So yeah, that's what I would like to say to people.
Wow, thank you so much, Mrudul, and I wish you all the best and all the success for your future. And thank you so much for being on IRA InspIRAtions today. We'll certainly have to talk a lot later.
I think thank you for IRA InspIRAtions. I think, like I said in the beginning of the call, you're doing a wonderful job. Keep spreading all the good things. I think it's very important in today's world. Like I said, fast-pacing world, and we need to inspire people. And thank you for letting me give my time here. I think it was very, very nice and fun talking to you. And thank you so much to all the people watching this.
Appreciate it. It means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Aljira. Have a nice day.
You too.